Coming up tonight, looking for something fun to do in your backyard this summer, we've got all the top lawn games, and we're going to share our favorites and least favorites on an exciting episode starting right now. This is Up for Debate, episode number 150, recorded June 13th, 2019. Lawn games. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Up for Debate, the debate podcast where the two hosts agree on everything. I am Sean Jennings, joined as always by a man who's still confused at what a cornhole is. It's Mr. Matt Mariani. Hello, Matt.
I don't know. It has a game that has nothing to do with corn. Am I right?
It barely has anything to do with holes.
Yeah, I would say that's a minor feature of the game. So, very ancillary. Yeah. How are you doing tonight, Sean?
My alternate on that was a man who can't even spell bocce. Yeah. It's Matt Mariani.
Oh, okay.
Can you spell bocce?
For the blooper roll. I want to say it's BOCCE. Close.
Very good. That's perfect. That's exactly
it. Got it. Wow. Okay.
You nailed it.
That's a little unfair being an Italian American, but I mean, growing up with bocce, that is a great lawn game. I think we can agree.
There are so many great lawn games, Matt. It's summer. It's June.
Yeah.
The weather is theoretically going to turn around eventually. And I got to be honest, Matt. I don't think lawn games have ever been hotter.
Really?
As a category, I think everybody is. It's sort of like how barbecuing and smoking meats got really popular in the last 5 or 10 years. I feel like lawn games have really taken off.
No, I agree. I think it's there's a lot of games that I'm sure we'll talk about today that have become really popular and trendy. The new movement seems to be taking board games and putting them and making them into lawn games, which I'm all for.
Ooh, we're gonna debate that.
So, all right, very good. I'm excited to. I'm glad we're doing this topic. I as someone who doesn't have a lawn currently, living in an apartment complex, the lawn is something that I always miss. Whenever I go to someone's house and they have a lawn, it's pretty cool. And I haven't had the chance to play many lawn games recently, but hopefully that changes as the summer goes on. So
plenty of time left for you to give those a shot. Matt, any particular place on this one you want to kick us off?
Well, all right. There's one lawn game that is up and coming, and this is kind of like this was really this and another lawn game that I'll talk about later in the episode are really the kind of the driving force of what made me want to talk about lawn games, I guess. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a lawn game called kubb. Kubb.
First of all, sounds like something you would make up. It's nothing. Matt invented his own yard game. It's called kubb.
It's called kubb. It's a Swedish yard game.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I played this about a year or two ago. This
is the rules in this are enormous.
Yeah, it's actually not that complicated. It's very, in a lot of ways it shares a lot of similarities, I would say, with bocce.
Okay.
In the sense that you're throwing something, placing it, and then you're trying to get another object to be close to it. So essentially, from what I remember about kubb, it's that you have there are three different types of pieces. There's one circular piece that they call the skull. There's one type of piece you can get is the skull. Then you have these like longer pieces that are like the bones, and then you have the king. And the king, there's only one king, is there one king? Maybe there's one per team, and they sit in the middle of the field. And your object is to use your sticks, to use like the ones that are the bones, to knock over the skulls. That you have like displayed in like a line in front of you. So you're kind of playing bocce combined with what's a game? Bowling. Yeah, it's like bocce and bowling.
You're just knocking over your opponent's things before they knock yours over.
But you can't knock over the king. If you knock over the king, I think it's like knocking the 8 ball in the hole. It's an automatic loss. or disqualification. You can't knock it over. I think the king has to be last. You have to save the king for last, maybe. It has been a while since I've played.
Yeah, you
but
do. You save the king to last.
but you can't knock the king over until you've knocked over all of your opponent's skulls.
If at any time during the
invented
game,
by Vikings.
if at any time during the game the king is knocked down by a baton or kubb, the throwing team immediately loses the game.
Yes.
Says Wikipedia.
Yes. So you have to. All right. So they call them batons and kubbs. We call them skulls and bones, but
It's very
I'm
American.
sure they're different. Yeah, it's probably the Americanized, right on version of that. This is a game I'm surprised they don't sell at IKEA. This seems like they should include that. I haven't been to IKEA in a while either, but
Yeah,
doesn't this seem like by the register where they have all the like random knickknacks? This cube should be in there somewhere, I think.
I think they already have a kubb, and it's like a twin bed or something.
The
The name might already be used.
The cube in Fjorgen, I think, is what you're thinking of.
That's right, with a couple umlauts in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This seems interesting.
It's a fun game. Take my word for it.
Okay.
It's a fun time. It's a solid lawn game. Yeah, I like Kubb.
You certainly need some space to play it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is a true yard game for sure. So you got to have some room to clear out cuz you're going to be throwing stuff, so you don't want anybody to get in your business there. But
And also it's 6 players per team theoretically.
oh, when I played it, it was definitely modified.
Yeah.
I was playing with some family friends out in Michigan, and I think we had like 2 or 3 maybe per team, if that. So it can definitely be modified. But
Yeah.
I guess 6 is probably that's like maybe the tournament standard.
Right. And yes, there are championships and international tournaments.
Cube.
Very neat.
So there you go. That's that was I really that was the first thing that came to my mind when we were talking yard games as a potential topic. So wanted to talk about Cube.
Nice. Bringing something new to the table. Matt, I want to talk about the most infamous yard game of all time. The most notorious.
Oh, you're talking about beekeeping. Fun side note. So, speaking of yard games and how beekeeping, YouTube apparently, are you getting these? Maybe it's just me. YouTube thinks that I'm like some kind of amateur beekeeper, and they keep recommending beekeeping videos for me. I think I watched one. And all of a sudden, YouTube is like, oh, the algorithm tells us that this guy loves beekeeping. And they just keep sending them to me. I guess it doesn't help that I keep watching them.
It works.
So it's just going to keep sending me more. Like, I wouldn't say I'm terrified of bees. I don't like bees particularly. I don't like them, especially when they're, like, near me. So beekeeping is something that I don't think I'll ever do as a hobby or a profession. So they keep sending them to me, and I keep watching them, and they're interesting. I do get a lot of like value out of watching it, in between other videos. But it's just funny how YouTube works sometimes.
Let me pitch you this, Matt. What if the person behind it is actually the bees themselves?
That would make total sense.
And they're trying to turn you around on bees and be like, this guy doesn't like bees. We got to teach him how great bees are.
That totally fits in line with the bee agenda. So.
Big B.
Absolutely.
Okay, well now I know what a certain somebody's getting as a wedding gift.
Here's a beehive.
A bee house for your yard you don't have. Do you think your neighbors would be mad if you started raising bees?
Yeah, I think they would probably have some complaints. I think they would probably they just might. I don't know. They may not be bee lovers. I don't know. Maybe they are bee lovers, and then we could like
hang out,
have a bee colony.
Oh my God! Could you imagine?
There's a whole side of a complex is just raising bees.
Could you imagine you're like looking for a new apartment? Oh, I'm just moving to the area. Oh, here's a great complex. It's very reasonably priced. The units are great, but also everyone who lives here is a beekeeper.
Surprisingly, I don't think that's written into the contract at all. It doesn't say anything about beekeeping. It
Matt,
does say if you have to register any and all pets.
you've
but
got to promise me you will call the company and explicitly ask if your lease prohibits you from owning bees.
While I'm on the conversation, I'm just gonna play like a low buzzing sound in the background, like intermittently.
Yep. Yep.
They just hear on the other line. Bzzz.
Can we do that? Can we tape it for the show? I would love to hear that call. That would be
Just
great.
a low hum. Oh,
No,
excuse
I'm not
me.
asking pets in
I wanna
general,
keep bees.
specifically bees.
Yeah. Yeah, specifically bees.
Yes.
You know, I would share some of the proceeds, maybe like 10% of the revenue I get from collecting the honey.
Yeah, is there like a
I'll send them your
maximum
way.
number of bees, or is like a
But the bees are well trained, I promise.
Oh, of course. I mean,
They
these
don't
are
wander.
domesticized bees.
These are worker bees.
These are house
all right.
bees.
House bees. Yes, domesticized bees. Yeah, that'd be something.
No, Matt, bees aren't
That'd be something.
bees are not the game I was thinking of. I was thinking of
Okay.
lawn darts. The lawn game that will kill you.
Of course. Lawn darts, yeah, that's extreme. I think that would go into the extreme yard game category.
I mean, it's the only one I can think of that's been explicitly banned by the government.
Maybe skeet shooting? No, not even skeet shooting.
Oh, I mean, there are restrictions, but you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those who aren't familiar, lawn darts, they're just big darts that you chuck up into the air and you got to try and land at a target. Have you ever played like metal-tipped lawn darts before, Matt?
I confess that I have never played lawn darts. No, that is not something I've ever done.
I'm not going to rat out the person. I don't want the feds to go after them, but I do know somebody who owns like old 1970s era metal-tipped lawn darts, and they are fun and they are shockingly dangerous because those things fly so fast and they are spiked with metal. And what happened was back in the 1970s, there were a number of injuries. April 1987, a 7-year-old was killed by a lawn dart in California. And so due to some lobbying in 88, there was an outright ban on lawn darts in the U.S. In the previous 8 years, so from 1980 to 1988, 6,100 people had been sent to the emergency room due to lawn darts. And 81% of those were 15 years or younger. On the week the commission voted to ban the product, an 11-year-old girl in Tennessee was hit by a lawn dart and set into a coma. In Canada, lawn darts resulted in at least 55 injuries and were banned in 1989. Now, it is legal today to buy a modified version, Jarts, which is sort of just a soft-tipped lawn dart, which is wildly inferior to the original. So
the objective is to land them on a target. How do they become dangerous?
They become dangerous so the thing about these is they're weighted at the end, so they always land tip down, so the tip is heavy. And so when you chuck them, they pick up speed very quickly. And the issue comes in is when someone walks in front of that target or isn't paying attention and you get impaled with them.
Oh, okay. I do want to point out that it's rumored that the original version of kubb was played with hammers.
Okay.
They would toss hammers at each other. So I don't know. I think that's still less. This sounds a lot more dangerous, these lawn darts, because getting impaled versus getting smashed by a hammer, I don't know. Both seem equally not one you want to get in the middle of. We're picking some extreme games here.
Oh yeah, we're hitting it hard.
Yeah,
we're hitting it hard. It's dangerous. Look, we're, if anything, a safety first podcast. Okay,
that's right.
And we've been that way since day one.
Always stay indoors. Don't go outside. This is
dangerous.
The main point of this podcast is just stay inside. You can't get hit by a lawn dart if you're inside the house.
Take it from somebody who is somehow still covered in poison ivy. Don't go outside. I don't recommend it. It sucks.
Still getting over that, huh?
Eventually.
That ivy.
Yeah, very poisonous. So there you go. There's not much to say about lawn darts anymore because they don't really exist. But if you can get your hands on some of these old 1970s, now it is fun fact, Matt. It is legal to import parts of a lawn dart separately, the fins, the metal body, the steel tips, and assemble it yourself. However, you cannot buy fully assembled sets.
That sounds like way too much work, Sean.
Well, it's you're skirting the law, man. This is some deep
That
stuff.
sounds like way too much work. I think I would rather play. Uh, I'd rather play bocce. Bocce is very, very little work. I mean, to set up, very easy game to set up.
Can I be honest though?
Mm,
Bocce's boring.
it's actually not.
No,
It's actually
bocce's
great.
very boring.
I actually love
No,
bocce. So
bocce's boring.
I'll defend it.
Okay.
I'll go to bat for bocce.
Bring it on, Matt. Tell me what's so great about bocce.
I'll go to bat for bocce. Listen, bocce is fun because it's one of those games where it's very it's like baseball. I think in a lot of ways it's
Great compared to the exciting sport
Yeah.
everyone loves.
well baseball is if you're someone who is a student of the game and appreciates the way baseball is played and you know what's going on and everything like that, you love it. Similar to bocce. Another similarity is besides, having to like requiring you to have some appreciation for the finer points of the game. Bocce is super relaxing and very easy to play and pick up and learn. You can
Now-
literally teach somebody bocce in less than 5 minutes. You can very, very easily explain to them the rules. They'll know what's going on. They'll know how to play, and they can start playing right away, and they can start being good at it right away. I've seen people play their very first time, and they put up, excellent scores. It's a relaxing game. You just kind of chill. You can play it anywhere. It's extremely versatile. We talk about it as a lawn game, but you could play it on the beach. You could play it on a court. You can play it in a traditional lawn setting. You can play it in a field. Bocce is a versatile and fun game for everyone, for the whole family. Also, you don't have to worry about getting speared like with lawn darts.
Well, first of all, those bocce balls
Nobody's
are
getting
heavy.
speared.
You can get hurt in bocce.
If somebody throws them at you, then all right.
Same
And
with
you
a lawn
don't get
dart.
out of the way, sure.
Same
But
with
the
a lawn
bocce
dart.
ball, I don't think it goes up high enough unless you're a very little kid. But in which case, you don't let little kids near the bocce court.
No, you definitely don't. Matt, I don't have a problem with the theory behind bocce, but it's just in a world where there are a million other more fun
Well-
yard games. This is your grandfather's yard game. I mean, this is
Yeah.
this is.
But
a
that doesn't make
snoozer.
it bad. There's lots of.
No, it makes it boring.
And like baseball, all right, like baseball, it's a game where many of the like, it might start out slow and there might be slow instances of the game, but when you get towards the end, when you're making those final throws and you really want to make them count, it can get very, very intense, more intense than any other lawn game that I know of, or at least just as. Especially if there's money on the line.
Are you gambling on bocce ball now?
Hey, it's legal now, Sean.
I guess. Is that the future of sports gambling? Backyard games?
Backyard bocce. It's fun. It's a great game. It's one of those games that you got to be a student of the game, I would say. You got to really study it and think about it. And it's very much, yeah, in a lot of ways, it's like, I would liken it to the baseball of the yard game world.
Matt, I've been sitting here listening to you describe bocce ball for like the last 5 minutes, and I someone could correct me here. I don't think I heard you say the word fun.
I think I said fun. Let's go to the tape.
Yeah, you said fun. You said fun once, but that's okay. I still, you've described it as a lot of things, not a lot of fun.
Competitive,
Yeah, that's
intriguing,
but
relaxing.
that's the thing about a lawn game, Matt. Lawn games, first and foremost, should be. It's not about winning and losing in a yard game. It's about having
What?
fun.
Whoa, Sean, it is 100% about winning and losing.
I gotta come to your.
It's about,
I gotta come to
it is
your
about
lawn
the
parties.
bragging rights. It is about just decimating your opponent. That's what the lawn games I play to win every time.
Well, no, I'm not saying you should play to lose, but I'm just saying, I don't want the thinking man's yard game. Like, that sounds awful. The whole point is to not think. It's just to throw something and have fun.
And you can play bocce that way. You don't have to think. If you want to lose, sure, but you don't have to be strategic. But it's like shuffleboard.
Shuffleboard's better than
No.
bocce.
Disagree.
Yes, because there's more
Shuffleboard is
strategy.
inferior. Shuffleboard's inferior because there's more setup and it takes a long. It's
No,
more specific.
I should be
Like
clear.
you have to play on a very specific court.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not a yard game. So if
Yeah.
you're comparing it as yard games, I agree with you. But I'm just saying, at
It's like
least
a
shuffleboard
boat
has
deck
has a
game.
more complex scoring component and a strategy component to it.
Do they still have shuffleboard on like cruise ships?
Oh, cruise ships, I don't know, but at like retirement homes and stuff, they do. And I love
Yeah.
shuffleboard, by the way. I will vouch for shuffleboard any day of the week.
You ever
Great
think
game.
about how like when we get to be of retirement age and we're really old, the retirement homes for us will have like Xbox.
Well, it reminds me of years ago when all the local news, they all do the same stories, and everyone was doing that story of old people learning to use the Wii and
Yes,
getting
the Wii was in
active.
retirement home.
And it was
Yeah.
really like gross to watch because they just couldn't do it. And they're like, I'm bowling. And that's what we're going to be like to our kids when we're in homes where we're going to be like, oh, look at them playing their little simple games and they're trying.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a catch-22 though, because we'll never retire. So.
That's true. We'll die at our desks.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's the American
100%.
dream.
It's pretty much guaranteed. That is the dream. So, or the nightmare, depending on how
That's
you
the
look
world
at
we
it.
live in,
Yeah, either way, it's the world we live in.
like
So,
it or not. Matt, I do want to talk about
long games. Yeah.
specifically a type of long game that we teased. The blown up traditional home game. Big Janga, Big Connect 4. There are others too that I'm not thinking of.
Oh,
I'll even give you like Big Beer Pong, I know has been coming around.
that's become a thing. Yes.
What else? Have they done big
No,
versions?
I've seen Big Connect 4, Big Dominoes.
Oh, Big Dominoes, yeah.
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 Giant Dominoes.
Yeah.
Giant Jenga.
Oh, sure, that's the
Big
classic.
Jenga. Big Backgammon.
I don't think big. No, that I don't believe. I'm going to just say no to that.
Big Backgammon.
Big Risk. That would be cool.
That would be extremely hard to set up,
Oh my god, it'd take forever.
but fun. And yeah, it would really give you a workout.
Actually moving your troops around.
The troops are real people. That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be. Someone should do that. Anyway, Matt,
Mm-hmm.
big games.
Yeah.
I don't
so
like them.
Talking about the enlarged board games, what don't you like
I
about
don't like them because it's get original. If I want to play Jenga, I'll just play Jenga inside at regular size. Like it's not more fun because it's big.
It's more fun because it's outside.
Or even like Connect 4. Like Connect 4 is not a fun game, period. So why would I want a giant version in my yard? It's a game for like kids who were stupid in the 70s who didn't know any better. Oh, look, I got
Connect
4 in a
4 is-
row. Oh, hey, oh, neat. Like, honestly, it's not a good game.
Connect 4 is fun. It's
It's
that
a
game that
Depression era game.
your parents buy you for like a long car ride and they think it'll keep you occupied, but in reality, you only have fun with it like the first 15 minutes and then you're like, okay, I'm done with this. Like
It's weak. And to have a giant version in your yard is dumb.
it can keep you occupied for all of 7 minutes and then you're like on to the next thing. I just recently found speaking of Connect 4, I recently found it was a Connect 4 handheld at my parents' house.
Oh,
Very, very vintage.
that's a collector's item.
Probably from the like late 90s, early 2000s. Remember the handheld games before they had like, before the handheld really took off? They had different like handheld golf and
I remember they did a lot of the Boggle and Yahtzee, and they did a lot of those games.
right. Yes. Yeah, those are classics.
Someone should do giant Yahtzee. I love Yahtzee.
Yeah. Yahtzee's all right. It's all right.
It's not for everyone.
It's just all right. Yeah, I'm not a huge Yahtzee guy. I just like to say Yahtzee.
Yes, it's fun to yell.
Yahtzee. Mhm.
Boom. There you go. You nailed it.
Sunk my battleship.
Giant Battleship.
That's got to be a thing somewhere.
That's an idea.
I'm surprised that wasn't in a Bond film. So you don't like enlarged board games?
No, it's just like there's so many other good yard games. It's like, why do you have to play Jenga? Like that's just, to me, a good yard game has to have some physical activity to it. Not a ton. Even at least cornhole, you're throwing something, right? At least you're, badminton or volleyball or can jam or whatever. There's some physical activity. Jenga, you're just pulling the blocks. Connect Four, you're just putting the discs in. There's nothing outdoorsy exciting about it. That to me is what makes a good yard game.
I see what you mean. They're not my favorite. That's not something that I'm willing to hang my hat on, but I think that people like them. I guess they're like some of the more popular ones that are novelty. Now, what I think that it's the perfect location for all these giant board game yard games.
Where?
At your local brewery.
Yes, and I agree.
That's got to be where
that.
you have
They're
them.
Party games.
They're
more
super
than they're
novelty,
yard games.
very party games. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And they're easy. You don't have to explain the rules, which I think is helpful. When you see that Jenga set, you know how to play. Everyone knows how to play. If I some of these yard games I've been Googling for this episode, I'm like kubb or whatever. It's like, I don't know how to play. You can just walk up and start with that.
There's no rule manual. You kind of already know how to do it.
Yep.
For
I
sure.
agree with that.
Yeah. So
let me ask you this, Matt.
Yeah.
What yard game would you say you're personally the best at? If there was like a competition and said, I'm going to challenge you, Matt, to any game of your choice, which would you choose?
I really like Frisbee golf. Would you count that as would you count that as a yard game?
I'm sorry,
Frisbee
try that.
Golf?
Did you say, Matt, this is why I love hanging out with you and doing this show, because we've done 150 of these. I've known you for going on 10 years, and you can still say things that honestly surprise me.
That's I'm the
Frisbee golf.
The ideas guy. Yeah, Frisbee golf. That's
I've never heard you ever talk about Frisbee golf. When do you play Frisbee golf?
It's a game that I've never actually played, Sean, but I do think I would be really good at it. I have a lot of confidence in my Frisbee abilities. So I think that I'd probably do really well at Frisbee golf. I could probably convince people that I've played it before.
Matt, never change.
It's very specific.
I love that you pick a sport that you could be really good at.
I'm confident that I would do very well at Frisbee golf.
It's like I know I'm not good at the ones I know how to play, so I'm definitely good at the ones I don't.
Well, I was going to say can jam, but that makes me seem really lame. Can jam was a fad. Do people still play can jam?
They do. Actually,
do they?
That's one of the few I've seen that.
Yeah,
that stuck around.
I enjoyed I played can jam that is a game I have played, and I would say it's probably the one that I would say I'm the best at. Now that's a game that requires a lot of your physical abilities, a lot more than some, which is good.
So you like the Frisbee?
I'm a fan of the Frisbee. Yes, the can jam, your can jams, your froth, your.
Have you ever done? I've heard it called a couple different things. Polish horseshoes is one way I've heard it called.
What's that?
I'm going to see if I can find the actual name. So what it is you've got two poles, and you put a beer can on top of each pole. Or for the kids' version, it's just an object. And you have to throw the Frisbee and knock the object off the other person's pole. And then you get points, and they have to catch the Frisbee. So you get points if they don't catch the Frisbee, if they hit the pole, and then if whatever's on top of it hits the ground.
Oh, that can't be fun for the poles, Sean. Why are we always picking on the poles?
No,
Come
maybe
on.
they shouldn't have been poles. Think about that.
Says the half Polish Sean Jennings.
Yeah, this website calls it Bottle Bash. It's kind of the safe version, but anyone can play it at home. You just need some beer bottles.
I have played this game actually. I have. It's a fun game. This is another game that I played at the same venue where I played kubb.
We
went on to this game. They didn't call it Polish horseshoes though. They called it knock the can off the pole with a Frisbee. It's very literal. Yeah.
I mean, you got it. You understood it.
Right away, you know exactly what's going on and how to play. Yeah. This game is fun. This is a fun one. It's very simple, a lot like bocce, where it's simple and easy to pick up and you know what's going on. Yeah, I think I would fancy myself as as good at pole
Pole
frisbee.
chucking. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now what would you say your lawn game of choice would be?
I would say I'm decent at cornhole, but the issue is I very wildly set to set. So I got to get a lot of practice in on that set before I can really get comfortable. But once I'm in the zone, I'm in the zone. My number one game is ladder toss.
Oh, see that I had just heard of that doing research for this show. I had never heard of ladder toss before.
So it's funny about this between 10 and 15 years ago, we were vacationing my family up in Canada and we saw another family playing this. It hadn't come to the US yet. This was before it was a thing.
Wow. You
And
guys
we're
were
like
trendsetters.
and we were watching play. We're like, that looks really fun. And so we went to a Canadian Tire, which is, their version of Home Depot, and we picked up a set. And the only reason I'm telling this story, I promise it gets interesting, is we picked up the set, and the way it was built, it was, the two stand-up poles, and then as the rungs, it just had these like wooden dowels. And then to toss, it had these big rubber balls on a rope, right? Kind of the set you're familiar with. But wouldn't you know it, we take the set, we toss it, the first ball we toss snaps the pole right in half because they're wooden dowels. Snaps it right in half. Like, oh shit, this sucks. So we go back to Canadian Tire, we return it, get another set. We toss the ball, snaps the next one. Oh, that's why they don't make these out of wood. Gotcha. So we bought some PVC and made our own.
Nice.
And still using that set to this day. No, I do love this game. I'm pretty good with the aim and the speed, and I can usually get them to wrap pretty well. So this is one I would definitely take on anyone in.
All right. You don't have to harm any poles, so that's good.
Yes, hopefully not. And by the way, very easy to make your own with PVC if you're handy, and you have a saw and some pipes.
Nice.
There's info online how to do that.
So that's ladder toss.
Ladder toss, yes. Or a bola ball is also what I've heard it called, because I believe bola is used to be the hunting instrument that looked like these, and that you would toss them, and then they would wrap around like deer's legs or whatever, right. Antelope.
Okay. Gotcha. Oh yeah, that would like weigh them down. Yeah.
So it's a good game. The problem is it's big in size, so if you want to take it with you, it's not really very portable. Unfortunately.
Yeah, this looks like a fun one. I would give ladder toss a shot.
I'll challenge you anytime.
Now, Sean, I'm going to get a little classy on you.
Oh
here.
no!
We're
don't
class it up.
Polo.
Think a little bit cheaper, little less of an investment than a horse.
Donkey polo.
A little bit less of an investment. Keep going. Think like very much like a budget version of that, but it's trying to be polo. You might see this at
golf.
Okay, split the difference. You might see this at a
miniature
polo
golf.
No, you're going the wrong way.
Okay.
You're going the wrong way. It's croquet, Sean.
Oh!
Croquet is what I'm trying to get at.
It's very funny. I'm trying to spell croquet, and I genuinely cannot.
That would have been my next question. Spell croquet.
I'm very bad at spelling. CROQUET.
You got it. Yeah.
Hey!
That's it. Croquet.
I'm a smart guy.
Have you ever played croquet, Sean?
No.
Okay, so
it seems boring.
My parents had a croquet set that was given to them, I think, as a wedding gift at one point. And we had access to like a croquet set it's got like little arches and mallets, but none of us really knew how to play, and none of us really wanted to take the time to set it up. I'm pretty sure it has to be that you hit the ball with the mallet and you try to get them through you have to go through the hoops, and you got to get through all the hoops, and you have to hit there's like a stick at the end. I want to say that's got to be the purpose of croquet.
Well, so I'm trying to Google it because I don't know the answer either. The issue is that there's like 8 different ways to play croquet. At the start of a turn, the player plays a stroke. If the player either hits the ball through the correct hoop or hits another ball, the turn continues. The player picks up his or her ball and puts it down next to the ball that it hit. The next shot is played with the 2 balls touching. This is the croquet stroke. Then they play continue. Oh boy, this just keeps going.
It's a terrible game, Sean.
The winner of the game is the team who completes the set circuit of 6 hoops and then back again the other way with both balls, then strikes the center peg.
This just seems like more work. You have to set up these hoops. You have to set up the peg.
The course, yeah.
This seems like it, right. It's a very labor intensive game for talk about a boring game. Yeah. I just wanted to bring it up because it is a lawn game that I know of, but it's definitely I don't know, maybe you were some kind of secret croquet lover that could talk about this.
No, what's very funny is my parents also got a croquet set as a gift, and we also never used it.
Yeah.
What a shitty gift.
This must have been a theme going on for like when they were married. Yeah. It's like, this is what you give people who are getting married. Like, here's a croquet set.
What a dumb...
And then you never play it. Yeah. But it stayed locked in the shed for as long as I could remember. And then, the shed got infested with bees. And I think the croquet mallet got either moldy or eaten by the bees.
By the bees. Yeah, fuel for bees.
That's right. It's fuel for bees. See, if I had taken up beekeeping that early, I probably could have saved the croquet mallets. But
that does sound like a good slogan for an energy drink brand. Fuel for bees.
Fuel for bees.
Anyway, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, no, I don't think anyone ever... I mean, there are still croquet associations and people play it. The thing about croquet is I'd be willing to try it.
Yes.
I think it would be a frustrating game because you really... Again, yard games should be easy and fun. Throw the thing in the thing. Hit the thing with the thing. But this, it's like there's both the combination of skill, because you have to be able to get it through the correct hoops, but then there's also strategy, because you have to do the croquet shot where, you know, the balls connect and you tap the other person's ball and all this. So it's like work.
Yeah. It's work to set up the course. It's work to play. And I don't find it to have too much of a payoff.
I will say this does seem like a good, like, you want to be out in the yard all day kind of game, like a slow, take your time and hang out in the yard game.
But at this point, why not just work in your yard? Like, it seems like to set up the course alone, like you could be doing something really productive with your time. You could be like trimming your hedges or something.
But that's why I think this is perfect for like old Victorian people who had nothing to do because all the peasants were doing the work. And so they just, in their big puffy clothes, stood out in the sun and sipped fancy drinks and played croquet.
Yeah. When they had people and they had servants who would set the course up for them. Yeah,
exactly. So it's a fancy people game.
Yes. This is a game of high society. Indeed. So, have you played dominoes for real? Like how dominoes are supposed to be played? Like, have you played like the game dominoes? There's a game that you play that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I played it.
I used to play it and I liked it. But because we had brought up dominoes earlier, a lot of people just think that the game is to stack them and then knock them over. That's not the game. That's just what people who were bored with dominoes decided to do.
It's kind of like you know what game I do love and I never get to play. This will surprise you, Matt. Mahjong.
Mahjong. That did surprise me.
I basically never get to play it, but I do enjoy Mahjong a lot. To me, more fun than dominoes. I have played dominoes like the game, but it's not. I
never learned how to play Mahjong, but I've always wanted to try.
It's hard. I'm not like super good with all the rules, and I haven't played in a while. But the times I have played it, it's a fun game.
Yeah, that's a game I would definitely get into.
I think you'd enjoy it.
Mahjong, yeah. Yeah, as Mahjong would not be a yard game. That's kind of like
giant
dominoes.
Mahjong.
Sit down at a table. Giant Mahjong.
You can take any game and make it giant.
That's exactly it. You make it giant, it becomes a yard game. A lawn game. Yeah, those were really the two kubb and croquet. One's a really fun game. The other one is an outdated game of high society that I don't know anybody alive today that plays croquet. Maybe if you're out there and you're a croquet fan, maybe write to us and tell us a little bit about your croquet experiences.
Yes.
That'd be great.
We'd love to hear it.
Love to hear from you.
Now, Matt, talk about all-time classic. Maybe the most classic yard game ever?
Chutes and Ladders.
How many chutes and or ladders do you have in your yard? That sounds, again, like an enormous safety hazard. Because you're going to be slipping into...
Listen, the government
climbing.
doesn't need to know of how many chutes and or ladders I have in my yard.
Again, Matt, this is what I like about you, is I can legitimately imagine you one day saying, Sean, you got to come to my house and check this out. What is it?
I just dug
made a
various
chutes and
holes.
ladders.
Real life chutes and ladders set.
Where did you get all these ladders? And chutes? I don't even know where you buy chutes.
I just dug holes and like just going down, sliding.
It's like it's all on fire. It's like, Matt, what did you do?
Extreme chutes and ladders.
Oh, no. That does sound like, what was it, Wipeout? Or it sounds like one of those TV shows there.
It does. It's like one of those like Guts or whatever those like kids. Double Dare. Remember Double Dare?
Well, did you see the new one that's coming out this year? Holy Moly.
Mm-hmm.
Mini golf, but it hits you in the face.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, Matt, horseshoes.
Oh, classic. Yes, horseshoes. I was never good at horseshoes. Nothing. No, never good at it.
But
tried to play it, never resonated here.
To me, I think not that I'm a pro at horseshoes, but I think the problem people have with horseshoes is everyone plays with the plastic ones now. And you can't play horseshoes with the plastic ones. I'm sorry. It's legitimately not the same. And if you've got real metal horseshoes and a real metal pole, that's a fun game. I'm going to rep for that. It takes practice. You need someone to teach you who really knows what they're doing. But there is nothing more satisfying than that metal on metal contact when you really
get a ringer.
When you get that ringer.
So you like horseshoes, but you don't like bocce.
No, because bocce it's too nebulous because you're kind of just playing all over the place.
Should I go ahead? Should I call the Anti-Defamation League now here on Sean? On you, Sean, for repping for horseshoes, but yet the foreign game bocce that those Italians play.
Matt, horseshoes was invented in Greece.
What? Really?
Yeah,
that's not true.
That's what Wikipedia says.
You're making that up.
I'm not.
I thought it was invented in the Wild West.
Why would you think that?
Because a lot of cowboys play horseshoes.
No, it says right here.
It was invented in Greece?
Yes. No, I just made that up. I had you.
Yeah.
Oh, I got him.
You almost had me. You did. I was ready to. I mean, because it really does seem like it could have come from Greece. I mean, why not? But
according to the actual Wikipedia, it's vague.
It's from like Texas or something.
No, well, the issue is there have been throwing games for a long time. When did it specifically go to a horseshoe is kind of
like kubb.
Yes, and this article isn't really helping me.
But
At the beginning of the 20th century.
What do you like about horseshoes that you can't get from bocce? It's just what I'm wondering. They're very similar games. The object is to throw a thing to get it close to another thing.
But they're not, though, because...
And even in bocce, there's an added strategy. You could throw your thing at somebody else's thing to knock their thing out of the way.
But that's what I don't want. I
It's
don't
an
want
added
that.
strategy.
No, because you got to rely on your own You shouldn't be messing with other people's stuff. Either you make it or you don't. And I like the fact that in horseshoes, the pole is fixed. You know what you're hitting. You're not messing around here. Bocce's just too loose for me.
But bocce, it adds more variety that way.
No.
When you throw the little ball and it goes in a different place every time. So that way it's an added strategy. With the horseshoes, you could just play on the same course billions of times and just get the rhythm down. Bocce is new every single time.
But that's what I'm saying. You can get really good at horseshoes because it's a repetitive action.
Yeah, but you can get good at bocce too. You just have to you get even better at bocce because you can make short throws, you make long throws, medium throws,
Matt,
throws that like go up really high, throws that are like line drive. There's more of a variety. I think with bocce, I think it's just more of a refined game.
If bocce is the baseball of yard games, then I would say horseshoes is
the soccer.
What?
Horseshoes is the soccer of yard games.
Stop that. No, it's a hard-hitting sport. I can't decide if I want to do football or professional wrestling or rodeo. I guess rodeo would make the most sense because of horseshoes. but it's not
Is
that much
rodeo a
fun.
sport?
Is rodeo a sport?
Yeah,
That's
like
a really deep.
can you win rodeo? I guess you can
Well,
because it's
yeah.
whoever stays on the horse the
Can you
longest.
win rodeo? Yes, you can win
Yeah.
rodeo. That's the whole point.
I thought the whole point was to just break bones.
No, American-style professional rodeos generally comprise of the following events: tie-down roping, team roping, steer wrestling, saddle bronc riding, bareback bronc riding, bull riding, and barrel racing.
I've never been to a real rodeo.
Ooh, we should go to the
It
rodeo.
seems.
Right after our XFL
This is my
game,
first rodeo.
We'll go to a rodeo.
Yeah. You could say this ain't my first rodeo.
That's finally. I've been waiting my whole life to say that. It all comes down to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, any other yard games you want to get to, Matt, before we run out of time? We've certainly talked about most of them.
Were we going to talk about golf at all? Were we going to talk about how awesome it is? How I've gotten like into golfing?
We're not, Matt, because we're going to do
It's
that
going
on
to be a future episode.
We're going to do a whole
all right,
episode on golf.
I'm teasing that. We're going to talk a lot about golf and golfing in a future episode. But while we're on the subject of lawn games, I like mini golf. Would we consider mini golf a lawn game?
I consider mini golf part of our future episode.
Okay, fair enough. How about gator golf?
Gator golf, Jesus. Where do you pull
Gator
this stuff?
golf, give it a whack. Gator golf, he'll throw it right back. Finish the line.
I can't. I'm just stunned.
What can be greater than golf with a gator?
Gator golf.
Gator golf.
Is that a lawn game?
No, that's actually, I think that's an inside game that you would play in the living room and your parents would get mad at you. Your mom would be like, stop playing gator golf near the fine china.
Is it something your mother stopped playing
they don't
near
have
the fine
china.
Like, well, why is the fine china on the floor next to gator golf?
We didn't have gator golf. I don't think we had, there's another game, Mr. Bucket. Of course you remember Mr. Bucket.
Put your balls in my mouth, Mr. Bucket.
Yes.
And then he spits them all out.
That's right. What was the point of Mr. Bucket?
We talked about this on a previous episode.
Oh, we absolutely have.
It was,
many times.
It was just the idea that the kids would run around and pick them up faster than he could spit them out.
So
it was like for 3-year-olds.
Kind of teaching very small kids how to clean their room.
Basically.
So there's a purpose.
Yeah. Mr. Bucket. Matt, I was going to say the only game I can think of that we didn't talk about is the net sports. Volleyball, badminton.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Volleyball is a little extreme for a lawn game, but I mean, yeah, I would say it's a lawn game.
Badminton's a great lawn game. The issue
Badminton's fun.
Is the net setup is a friggin' pain.
Yeah,
it is the most involved.
It's always
setup.
tangled. It's always tangled,
and it falls over, and then nobody wants to take the time to do it. But
by the time you have it set up, people have already moved on and doing other things.
But if you can get badminton at your party, that's a good game.
Yeah.
That is a good game because it's high energy, but anyone can do it.
That's why you got to set the net up before people arrive.
Oh,
before the guests arrive, the net is already ready to go. That's the key. That's the key. Nobody wants to wait around for you to set the net up. But if it's set up and it's there, people will play it. That's got to be in like the page 1 of like hosting.
Yeah. No, I mean it's legitimately fun and you know, you can really that's a game I like to get a little bit competitive in because it's really you can get a lot of force behind those thwacks.
Yeah. Yeah. I like badminton. I'm for it. Have fond memories of playing badminton. I think that was like a big do you ever play that in PE?
Yes.
We had like a badminton unit
it was one of those like 3 sports that are safe enough that kids won't hurt themselves playing.
Exactly. That's why they do it.
Which amazes me because there were like metal rackets and stuff. So
those phys ed teachers must have loved badminton week. It's like, all right.
Oh,
nobody's getting hurt playing badminton.
That was my favorite week.
Sure. And then you just got to watch them.
What do they even do in gym? Do they still have gym?
They do. They still have gym. They do the same stuff that we always did. They do flag football. What were they doing the other week? They were doing well, they're basically done now because everyone's taking finals, but they basketball.
The basics.
Yeah, it's really all the same stuff. They played ultimate frisbee. That's another kind of low impact Although kids can get hurt playing ultimate frisbee, but yeah, no, it's the same stuff, really.
My school, my high school, small side story, but
Hmm.
my high school used to have a swimming pool, and they closed it just before I got to the high school because the building was literally collapsing around it. But previous to that,
It's built on a sinkhole.
they would no, the whole building was built not to hold a pool, and they put a pool in it, and turns out you can't do that because then it rots. It's very wet. Who would have
That's
guessed?
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. But they used to do a gym's
unit?
course, unit, where they would put. Now this is not an Olympic size pool, but it's a competitive pool, so it's got a little size to it, but it's not like enormous. They put kayaks in it.
Whoa.
And they would teach the kids how to kayaks, but you can only fit so many. It's not like a lake. Like
Yeah,
you can.
I don't know how this would work with a full-size gym class.
It was very weird, and they could only get so many in there. And the kids would kind of just go back and forth, in their lanes. But that was always everyone looked forward to that.
Sure,
Until
that
the
sounds amazing.
Pool collapsed.
Yeah, that could have aided in its collapse.
Yeah, there was a
Putting
lot of
giant kayaks and yeah, were they individual kayaks or like?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, not like every
School was
not
well
every
funded.
no every kid didn't get one. They had like 3 and they cycled in and out.
Oh, okay, I see. The other kids that didn't get kayaks
They
were
took
just kind of hanging
turns.
out.
Yeah. There
So
was
you
always
had
a big
to.
pool.
That's pretty cool. How long were your gym periods? Because I'd imagine you have to dry off and get changed. Like,
I guess it must have been a long. This was before my time, but yeah,
it's
it
a
must have been.
process. Were they for like 90-minute blocks or?
For the special kayaking
Gosh.
unit.
Yeah.
Who knew?
That sounds like the most amazing time. I think the best gym memory that I have is like we would play this game where we had these giant they looked like giant ear cleaners, like giant Q-tips
Oh, yeah.
almost. And we would hit like a ball with it. We'd play like indoor hockey basically
Oh, yeah.
with like a koosh ball.
Sure.
Yes. That was always fun. Everybody was always really bad at it, which was funny because it's like these two things were not meant to go together. The like the koosh ball or the kick ball and the ear cleaner tool. It's very impractical, but I'm sure it would look very funny for the gym teachers to sit and watch. Volleyball was huge at my school.
Oh, yeah.
We're huge into volleyball. Every winter we'd have the candy cane tournament where
Ooh.
every gym class you would get like one team would come out of each gym class and they would all like vie to be the school-wide champion. That was awesome. That was and it was actually the championship game would be on the day of it'd be an early release and it would be right before we left for winter break and you could actually stay and watch like I remember you could stay and watch like the final game of the tournament with everybody playing like oh it always drew like so, I mean I think it actually might have been like during a class period. It might have been like the last period of the day. It was like all right, we're going down and we're watching the candy cane tournament finals.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was solid. I always looked at that fondly. My team made it into the playoffs once, but we were eliminated. That was the year. There was always a theme every year, and that theme was places like countries. I think.
Mm-hmm.
So ours wasn't a country. I was an underclassman. I was a freshman when I was on the team, and the captain was a senior, and he wanted to be Key West. So we were Key West, which I don't believe is a country, but the gym teacher was fine with it.
That's probably why you didn't make it.
Yeah, we did make it to the finals. I think that was the only year I was in the finals, or the playoffs rather. But it didn't make. I think we lost in the first round. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but that was fun. Volleyball is a fun game. I could see lawn games being incorporated into like modern PE classes.
Well, but they're not very physical.
Yeah, but
I mean, some of them, I guess.
I think they're the right amount of physical. You can't like badminton isn't that physical.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you're physically moving your. I would say cornhole is not particularly physical.
Darts intensity. You could play lots of yard games in an intense way.
Should you? I don't know.
I would love to see intense lawn darts.
Well, yeah, people get killed, Matt.
That's the price you pay for.
God, that is such a perfect crime. Like, if you want to murder somebody, be like, hey, let's go play some lawn. Hey, can you go move the target? I don't think it's far enough out for me. It's like, oh no, tragic accident.
Speared with a lawn dart.
Who could have thought such a thing would
happen? Who would have
known?
Right. What an unfortunate.
They shouldn't sell these things, Matt. They're dangerous.
That's why you said that you claim the government banned them.
If only someone had told me.
Yeah.
Very unsafe. Matt, we are basically done here.
Yeah. I don't think I have any other.
Let me ask you this.
No.
I've got one final question to take us out on, okay?
Okay.
You don't have a yard.
I don't.
But eventually you will have a yard.
Yes.
What's the plan? What's the first game you're going to buy for your yard?
Oh, it's going to be a net. It's going to be a net for badminton. Yeah, I firmly believe that.
Bold choice.
Yeah, that's got to be, because it's a crowd pleaser. You could fit. I think you'll be like either if I want to splurge, maybe volleyball net, because that's even easier, and you can include a lot of people in that game.
Yeah.
Like the mileage can vary. You can do a 1v1 or a 2v2.
But you need the space.
Or you could have like up to like 6v6. Like that's it. You do need the space. That is a. I mean, not really. You don't need a huge amount of space. I don't know. It's not like croquet, I guess.
No, but it is like,
you don't need a vast.
But like a ladder toss or a cornhole, or even can jam, you need less space.
You can make volleyball work. I think you can make it fit. Like if you can play volleyball in a pool, I think you can make it work.
No, but you don't play real volleyball in a pool.
Well, yeah. So you play backyard volleyball. Yeah. It's a little modified.
Oh, not regulation? You're not going to put in a sand
It's not regulation,
pit?
Right? OSHA is going to come and have a problem with it, but whatever. It's I don't know why OSHA would be coming to your backyard barbecue.
Well, knowing your backyard, Matt,
they probably should.
Very unsafe.
Probably should. Tally up all my violations. But yeah, do you have lawn games, Sean? Do you own some lawn games?
This is my first summer having a yard, and I don't own any yard games. And I would say, honestly, I think the first I'm Mr. Not what I want, but what other people want guy. I would probably get cornhole. And it's not my favorite game, but I think it's the most approachable. I think it's the easiest to play and understand. I think it's a game that's generally universally liked. If I go to a party and there's a net, I'm like, oh, I got to find other people to play. I'm not that athletic. It's kind of intimidating. But cornhole's like you just pick it up and toss it. It's dead simple. Doesn't get easier.
Yeah.
Outside of maybe like a horseshoes or something, but even that can be a little intimidating. So I think cornhole is a good starter lawn game, and build from there.
Good. Oh, then if you like cornhole, Sean, I've got some news for you.
Oh boy.
There will be cornhole at my wedding.
Oh,
there will be cornhole. We ordered specifically cornhole boards. So I guess that is technically my first lawn game, because we're going to keep them. So we've got cornhole. Yeah.
Very nice.
I don't know where we're going to put them afterwards, but yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah. So there's going to be cornhole during the cocktail hour when we're outside and enjoying the beautiful New England weather. And
the cocktails. Great. Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, so look forward to that. Cornhole.
I will. What's the prize if you win?
The prize if you win,
I get to marry the bride.
I was going to say.
Yes, we're fighting for her love.
Fighting for honor.
Yes.
How about a photo? You get a photo with the bride and groom.
I think I get that anyway, Matt. I think that's part of that was definitely listed on the package when I bought it.
It was? Yes. Are you sure?
Uh-huh.
I might have to check with customer support.
In fact, I think there was a VIP meet and greet.
Did you find the golden ticket?
No, I paid extra.
I told
for the
them
golden
to cancel
ticket.
that, but
no, I got the VIP all access weekend pass.
I think it was. I'll blame it on the underground
Ticketmaster, man.
Ticketmaster, yeah, they're always scalping. Always.
Very inconsistent.
Yeah.
Matt, this has been a real treat, as always.
Mm-hmm.
Really fantastic. I feel like we've just been on such a roll. Folks are just hopping in today. Hey, thanks for being here. If you haven't listened to our past episodes, we've done so many good ones. Matt, I just got a shipment of books in the other day, which was very exciting.
You did? Okay. Let's hear about it.
Well, it's the books we talked about on our book club last week. What's the book of yours I promised I would read? The Cuckoo Wind-Up...
The Wind-Up Bird... The Wind-Up Chronicle.
Yes, which I flipped through and it terrified me. So
good.
We're doing something right.
Good. I'm glad.
And a couple other books as well. So,
Sean, actually, I mentioned. I think I mentioned this on the last week's episode. I actually bought a fair amount of the books you suggested, and I've started reading 3 of them already. Sean,
that's not good, Matt.
Isn't that crazy?
That's too many.
It is. I have a problem. Because I couldn't figure out which one I wanted to like really read and finish, so I kind of sampled 3. The 3 are, so I'm like, actually, the one I decided to go with was Dot Bomb.
It's a quick read.
I'm like probably 50 or 60 pages in. I'm really enjoying that story. I also started reading League of Secrets.
League of Denial. You'll never get that right.
Man, I'm never going to get it. At least I didn't call it League of Shadows last time. Not to be confused with Game of Shadows, which is the 3rd book that I also have purchased, and I'm like 30 or 32 pages in on that one. So really enjoying all of them, and I'm going to probably finish Dot Bomb. My lofty goal is to try to finish at least 2 of these before I leave for Italy next week, but the ones that I don't finish, I'll enjoy on the plane. The flight. So
I've got a great stack for the whole summer, so I'm looking forward to that, and we'll be talking about some of those on future episodes. And I can tease, we're going to have a great July's worth of episodes. It's our rapid fire July. We're doing short episodes every week, 4 consecutive weeks of some really great content. I can't tease all of it, but it will be enjoyable, and one of them will be golf. So you're going to want to check that out at upfordebate.tv or wherever you get podcasts. Make sure you're subscribed now on Spotify, in addition to all the other great places, video version on YouTube. And, of course, you can reach out to us at upfordebatetv on Twitter or upfordebatetv@gmail.com is the email address. Whew. Fun. Get out there. Enjoy your yard games. Enjoy the nice weather. And then come back and join us next week. But until then, on behalf of Matt, I'm Sean. Thanks for being here. We'll see you for another Up for Debate.